I connected with my Pleiadian guide and the Galactic Federation, and they had some great information for me that I would like to share with you regarding the expansion in consciousness, what's happening in our external reality, all the wackiness. We hear about galactic wars, artificial intelligence, things like that. How can we best position ourselves to maintain stability, to continue to remain anchored and hold that high frequency light, that higher perspective, and not get dragged down by all the stuff that's going on around us? So this message came in extremely, extremely powerful. It opens me up to a higher perspective and allows me to find a space to remain anchored when the information coming in through the five senses may want to really try to lower your frequency. That's what's happening now, is our frequency keeps getting hammered by everything that's happening externally. But we want to flip that. And my guides were very, very clear on this. We want to remain in a frequency of unconditional love. We want to flip the perspective. We don't want to get drawn into the noise that's happening externally, because that noise is a reflection of the healing process that's happening within us. It's just how we interpret it. And we can interpret it in really wacky ways, ways that manifest as fear, manifest as control or being controlled, manifest as a loss of freedom and a loss of sovereignty, those types of things. Those are the emotions that are rising up within us that we are currently healing. So it's natural that if the cause in here is this density rising up to be experienced, to be felt, to be transmuted, the reality is going to reflect that energy out, so we could be the observer of it and fully feel everything that's going on, right? So this is old programming coming out. Now, we move up into the fourth dimensional field, and we have a lot of that fear coming our way, right? We hear a lot about galactic wars, AI, how there's draconians, reptilians are trying to control everything, all that's happening within the universe, all of these things that could look very dire, dim, and scary. Now, the ray of hope always in this information is that the Federation is here. They are cleaning house. The frequency of the solar system, the planet, the universe is rising. We're moving into the photon belt, and everything's going to be great, right? Everything's going to be amazing. Well, the ascension process is just that, moving from a dense place to an enlightened place, a place of high frequency, a place that is truly amazing. But that is something that we cannot yet perceive. We can feel it. We get inklings of it. We get instances of it. We get magic moments where we tap into that super high frequency light. We feel it. It resonates. We radiate it as we try to embody it, right? And that's a slow process, because in order to do that, we need to continue to clear the density. And collectively, we're rising up through this fourth dimensional field, and all of that dense energy is being manifested in the reality. So we're seeing all of these bad players, nefarious stuff, control, evil, whatever context you want to put it in, it is what's being reflected, right? That's what's being reflected, because that's the energy in here inside that is coming up to be observed. Now, we can look at that energy from any number of perspectives, whether it be political, religious, whatever your upbringing is, whatever that happens to be. We create stories, right? Because this energy is moving through our body, it's moving through our mind, and we have programming. So everything that's happening externally, the way we're perceiving it is in alignment with some sort of story that we have embedded within us, some sort of programming, some sort of a way of thinking. Okay, so that's how we perceive all of these events. So if you were in a religious upbringing, you'd be thinking of, demonic, demons, angels. If you were in, you're moving up into a place where you've connected with your star guides, or you're interested or leaning into that type of energy, you can see it as like reptilians, draconians, evil grays, whatever it is for you. These are all stories and narratives that are running through us, because it's tied to programming that we've created by experiencing certain traumas from the human perspective. This is energy that's stuck and it's coming out. And whatever you believe in, whatever you're leaning into belief-wise, that's how this stuff's going to manifest. That's what's going to resonate with you, because you're familiar with it. Okay, it's a safety thing. Oh, I'm familiar with demons because of my religious upbringing, so everything is demonic. Whatever it may be for you, that's how it's going to manifest. Now, the Federation And my Pleiadian guide specifically said we want to stay anchored in the frequency of love. We want to feel that, and we want to be the light that emanates above this thick, dense bandwidth of energy that is currently manifesting. We want to know, we want to remember that these are stories that we are telling ourselves. This is information that is manifesting or coming forward in a way that the human brain knows and is comfortable with. So we don't want to get stuck too much in the story behind it. What's happening politically, what's happening religiously, whatever it is that you've been attached to, it's time to start to detach and let that energy go. We want to release from these stories. We want to release from the attachment, because the unconditional love frequency of the higher dimensional fields is landing and pushing all of that stuff up. So when we can detach from that energy, we're able to drop into our heart space, we're able to ground and anchor into the body, and we're able to bring love forward. And that helps to transmute the density within the body. It helps us to release the programming, release the fears, release the stories, and expand in consciousness. And as you expand in consciousness, you are going to be like, think of being in a hot air balloon, right? And you're looking at the stories below, you're gonna be like, bye stories, bye, we're rising higher and higher. They're gonna drop away slowly. It's like, bye, okay? That's what's happening. These stories are starting to drop away, but the more you're attached to it, the more you convince yourself that the programming is real, the more you're gonna suffer in that energy, because that light is trying to come through, that love is trying to come through, and you're blocking it by attaching to these old stories. In order to get to where we want to go, which is the new earth, we want to manifest that frequency and become that, we need to release the old programming, which means we have to let go of these stories. So if we want to take AI and galactic wars and that kind of thing, all of that energy, it's no different than religion and angels and demons, that type of story, okay, or information. It's all the same, just seen through a different lens. We need to start to let go of that. And my guide, my Pleiadian guide, and the Federation were so adamant about that. We need to be aligning with the frequency of unconditional love and allowing that energy through, because the mind is trying to see where we're going. Okay, oh, these galactic wars, this is what's going to happen. This is what's happening here. This is what's happening on Mars. This is what's happening on Venus. We've got all these craft in the sky. Wonderful. This energy is here. But when we run it through the body and we start to perceive it, and it triggers the fears, the insecurities, and the programming, kind of distorts everything. And can you see, when we get into that bandwidth of aligning with these stories, we could start to feel fear. We could start to feel like things are out of our control, like we're being controlled, a loss of sovereignty. And that's the energy that we are looking to transmute. We are looking to move past that. We want its frequency to rise. So as we move up through this field and we get to experience galactic contact, for a good example there, and maybe your star guides, your star beings, and things like that, take that for what it is, aspects of you that are coming back online that you are remembering and contacting. If you let the stories get in the way, you will be stuck at a lower frequency. You will be aligning and creating a reality for yourself that is going to keep you stuck in a lower frequency. It's about love. And what they were really getting after with me was, it's the love, the feeling of unconditional love, the space separation, really, the ability to observe everything is the whole that we're able to punch through that density to rise up into the light. And as we start to come out of that, we start to embody and bring forward unconditional love. The next phase of this journey will open up to us. And when it opens up to us, we're going to be in a mindset of saying to ourselves, how did I forget this? It's going to be that familiar to us. But as we navigate through the density up to that point in time, which is going to come as we continue to ground more of our consciousness, we can trip, we could fall, we're going to stub our toe, right? We're going to have opportunity. And the opportunity is to feel the energy that's coming up, fully feel it, bring love into the equation in that very moment, and transmute that energy. Your body will then rise in frequency. You'll be able to ground more consciousness. And as you ground more consciousness, you're going to start to get away from the lens of the human being saying, oh, when I reach a new level of consciousness, it's going to look like this. That's all story and anticipation, right? When you get there, you're going to say, wow, how did I ever forget this? And it's going to be nothing like your brain at a lower frequency, lower level of consciousness can anticipate. It's going to be so much better. So don't get caught up in all of the stuff that you're hearing, all of the stuff that you're seeing, all the stuff you're perceiving. It doesn't feel good, but it's not supposed to. These are emotions that have been buried for a long, long time that you haven't wanted to process. Okay. So you could observe the stories through the lens of the human. You'll see them in a way that's in alignment with your programming, but know that it's love moving in. Unconditional love is grounding and moving in and coming forward and showing you everything that you need to feel, everything that's in the way, everything that's keeping that door, that bridge to new earth locked away is being shown to you. So feel it, love it, become it, and amazing things are going to open up for you. I'd be so grateful if you'd watch one of the videos that pop up on your screen. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Like this video and leave a comment below. Thank you.